Station putting local first. You're watching Studio 9.
Welcome, everyone, to Studio 9. I'm your host, Robert Bettis. This is Positive Southwest Living, a chance to be a tourist in your own town. We have a great show for you today. First of all, green chili cheeseburger and a creamy chocolate shake. Nothing takes you back to the 1950s faster than a visit to Hudson's. And it's voting time. I voted, took about an hour and 15 minutes. We recommend you early vote, and we have valuable information for you. If you've got an air conditioner and it's broken, it might be a little part about this big. And since we stayed in the 90s into mid-October, it's important that we talk to the experts at Expert HVAC. Finally, what is cosplay? Well, it's a national pastime of people who dress up like comic book characters. And we have a big national star right here in El Paso. Let's meet her. Well, Halloween is right around the corner, and anybody who knows me knows I'm obsessed with Halloween because my mom was obsessed with Halloween, and I dress my family up every single year. I also love Star Wars, but there are people in El Paso who take Halloween to a whole new level. It's called cosplay or costume play, and one of the biggest stars in El Paso is with me right now, Christina Dark. Anybody who's ever gone to a Comic-Con in anywhere in North America has seen you, especially as Catwoman. Christina, nice to see you.
That was a very nice introduction.
Oh.
All-star, I wish. But
well,
thank you so much.
You've taken it to a whole new level. Now, I've got to ask you, of course, I love costumes. You love costumes. Why do you love to dress up? Why have you taken it so far?
I've loved dressing up because I've always loved Halloween. And when I started getting into this about 10, 11 years ago, I would make my own Halloween costumes with my mom. And at this time, I was really into video games and comic book characters, and they're like, you should cosplay. And I was like, what's this? And at that time, 10 years ago, it wasn't so mainstream. And so when I found out about it, I'm like, you don't have to wait for Halloween to do this. And so I loved it ever since I've graduated. I've been doing it for about 11 years now, since I was 18 years old, and I wouldn't change anything.
Now, you talk about cosplay, and of course, you're talking Comic-Con, and that's where people, they can dress up as a hobby, as a kind of a sport, but then your goal is to take it to the next level, which is you can actually make a profession out of these excellent costumes.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
So a lot of people do it hobby, a lot of people do it full-time. And I guess to be a professional, right, you have to be paid for what you do. So you get paid for doing this, right? And I get paid for doing what I do. So sometimes cons will invite you out. Sometimes you can reach out to them and be like, hey, I think I'd be a really great asset at your show. I'm fun. I can draw in crowds. Please have me. And sometimes they'll pay you a fee. It depends on contracts, right? The contracts get a little tricky. But and then, you know, I sell in, prints, and that's what I make my revenue with. And so, yeah, it's cool.
It's just awesome. Okay,
yeah.
I'm going to start with this one right here. This is one of your favorites. This is Harley Quinn. Of course, all the kids, the adults know the movie.
Yeah.
You rock this costume like nobody's business.
Yeah, I've done Harley Quinn. She's great. She is a psychiatrist, kind of gone villain, but now a little bit of a hero now if you keep up with her stories.
Sure.
So she dumped Joker, so she's moving on with her life. She's doing better, but she's a great character.
Now, these costumes, they get very elaborate, and we're going to see quite a few of samples of your costumes. Do you make them? Do you buy them? They're elaborate. They're perfect.
So some of them I do make, some of them I do get commissioned. So with that, I, reach out to somebody and say, hey, I really like your work. Can you make me, for example, a Catwoman costume? I really like what you have. And so sometimes if you just want to throw in a little bit of budget in there, or if you don't want to do it, there's nothing wrong. But if you do get something commissioned, credit it. Credit where you get it from.
Okay, okay. And, of course, you have favorite materials you work with. I mean, it takes kind of a genius mind to be able to piece together something that's not only going to look good, but a lot of people have to know this. If you're in it 8 hours, it's got to last. How do you do that?
So sewing for me, even though I've been doing this for like 10, 11 years, sewing for me is still very scary, and my mom teaches me a lot with it. I have some friends who are really great seamstresses that help me with it. But foam armor, what I made my Blue Beetle costume with, if you ever see it one day, is a material that's like it's kind of the squishy foam. I like daycares. A lot of people make really cool armors with it, and so that's the medium I like to work with the most. It's the easiest.
Now, question. Your mom and you, costumes. Mine's the same way. What would you say to people? And my mom's rule was this. If it looks good in a picture, it's good enough for Halloween. And she was brilliant about how it looked and piecing it together. What would you say to parents of kids that they want to dress up and you're afraid, well, I can't afford that expensive costume? It doesn't have to be expensive.
No, it doesn't. You have so much outlets out there to help you, like, with your resource, right? You have YouTube, you have Google, you have Instagram, you have Facebook, and do your research, have fun, maybe start something small. I'm pretty sure you have the stuff within your own closet.
Wow, Christina, you're amazing. Thank you for sharing all of these wonderful costumes. And if you've never been to a Comic-Con, when you do go, here she is. Want more information? Go to our website, KTSM.com. Click on that tab, Studio 9. There's only one Christina Dark, and she is as awesome in person as she is in her portraits. Now I'm starving. What about you? Let's go back to the 1950s and have a green chili cheeseburger and a delicious creamy chocolate shake coming up.
There are Texans of all kinds. But when it comes to voting, they all need an approved form of ID. That's why it's important to ready, check, vote. Visit votetexas.gov to find a full list of the approved photo IDs and what to do if you don't possess and can't reasonably obtain one.
Visit votetexas.gov or call 1-800-252-VOTE.
When money talks, Xochitl Torres Small listens. Nancy Pelosi and liberal extremists are spending millions to keep Xochitl Torres Small in Congress because Xochitl Torres Small is one of them. She votes with Pelosi 94% of the time, even voting to destroy our energy industry, which supports over 130,000 New Mexico jobs. Torres Small sides with them, risking our recovery. We can't afford Xochitl Torres Small. The NRCC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
John, we need to talk. It's just not working out.
Senator Cornyn, you misled us on the coronavirus.
You voted against funding for masks and ventilators.
And you're still trying to take away protections for people with pre-existing conditions.
It's not us, Senator.
It's you.
You won't fight for us.
And we found someone who will.
I'm MJ Hegar, and I approved this message because 18 years in Washington was a long run, John. But it's over.
Seen Yvette Herrell's misleading attack ad? Herrell's trying to hide her record of devastating cuts for New Mexico families while cashing in for herself. Because when New Mexico faced a budget crisis, Herrell voted to cut unemployment benefits. But she took over $100,000 for expenses like travel to lavish events. Now, Yvette Herrell is misleading New Mexico, but we won't be fooled. House Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Carlotta, would you like us to leave?
What is that? That looks like a person.
Please show it to us. We're not gonna hurt you, okay?
Are you here with us right now?
Will you believe?
Oh, yeah, that does. Well, hello there. February 1986. Ronald Reagan was president, the Material Girl was on top of the charts, and the Space Shuttle Challenger blew up to the horror of every American. Well, something good happened that week. Out here on the east side at Lee Trevino and Treywood, Hudson's Grill opened up all those years ago. And joining me now is the owner, Anthony Duncan, and the general manager, Ruben Barron. Nice to see you, gentlemen.
Good to see you, Robert. Nice to have you out.
So 1986, you've been open a long, long time.
A long time. Lots of people been through the doors in that period of time.
I was in high school. I remember that Challenger. It was an unfortunate tragedy.
Terrible.
But you were painting, you were putting things together, and you were wiring up this kitchen back here. You had to go forward.
That's right. We did at that point, and everybody, that's kind of how you remember when we opened because of that, sadly enough. But then, like you said, a good thing happened right after that. Probably within a week, we opened up, and we've been lucky enough to be here for 34 years now.
You've been shake, rattling, and rolling, and having all sorts of good food. And oh my goodness, look at that! I don't even know where to begin. I guess.
Oh, hold on just a second. Don't you want to hear a little bit more about the decor inside
sure.
the place?
Of course I want to hear about the decor. These are real cars stuck in the walls here?
Those are. That's a real Hudson's automobile up over there. There was a guy named Hadley Davis that used to make movie sets for, I believe it was MGM Studios back in the day out in California. He's kind of an artist type personality he had, and what he got tired of is after the movies were done, all his work would be taken down and put back in the warehouse. So he started designing and doing interiors of restaurants. And so we got lucky enough to find them, and then when he came out here, and we decided to put the car up coming out of the wall, make the gas pumps, do several other things that we have in here for the Hudson's motif that we have in here. He then came up and said, okay, we'll do real cars instead. So he took those, cut them in half, did the whole thing that he had to do with it, painted it. And it was a little bit of a pain in the neck getting it up there, but it's kind of funny. The kids that come in here, Robert, they look at the car and they're going like, well, where's the back of it? Is it outside in the back? They ask that question all the time.
Ruben, I got a question for you. You've got a fully stocked bar over there, and I see some gas pumps. Is that part of the whole Hadley Davis theme over there?
Oh, I mean, I've been here for 25 years, and I mean, this place is awesome. All the kids from high school, from middle school, even from elementary, they come by here. We give them a tour in the kitchen, and once they grow up and they come back with their families, with their kids that they used to come here when they were kids. So, I mean, it's awesome. It's great for all types of families of all ages. We have a bunch of regulars that come in here, so everybody just has a blast in here.
Okay. All right, I'm going to try one more time. Okay, we'll get to that shake, I guess.
You need to try the food first.
Sure, yeah, of course I want to try the food. So what do we got here? What do we got?
You start off, Ruben, that's a sampler. It's one of our more popular items. It comes with a number of our appetizers on it. You have potato skins right there.
See the potato skins. Now, is there a particular sauce I should dip it in?
You have the poppers that are on the plate. You have the wings, the nachos, and of course you have the chicken tenders that are on that as well too. We sell a lot of them. They're a little bit hard to make. When they get an order in the kitchen, they don't know how to smile real big about it. But they're used to putting them out, and the people love them.
Nice little spice on that one right there. And the nachos look good too. What's this over here? I see some onion rings there.
Well, Ruben, we're famous for our burgers over here.
We're famous for our burgers. That's a bacon cheeseburger. We cook our bacon freshly every day by the order. We have our nice 3/4 inch onion rings.
Look at that. There you go.
Take it with mayo, lettuce, onions, tomatoes, and pickles. It's a mouthful.
It's good. It's good. It's like our theme has also been burgers, shakes, rock and roll. And eventually I'm going to let you try the shake, but not yet. You got to eat some more first.
My daughter pretty much is vegetarian, so this is for you, Corbin.
Well, we do have a veggie burger, so if you bring her in, if she wants to try one of those, we have veggie burgers also as well.
Curly fries.
That one's good right here. Now, what is this particular
That's
item?
a green chili chicken sandwich. It's our chicken breasts with our freshly cooked green chili every morning with jack cheese, and the same thing with mayo, onions, lettuce, tomatoes, and pickles on a freshly wheat bun.
New Mexican alert, right here.
And we serve it with curly fries. The kids have also liked the curly fries in here, so we've also kept curly fries around just for them.
Okay, you can't slap my hand anymore. I got to do it.
The shakes we're known for.
This is the famous shake, the chocolate shake. I cannot describe how delicious that is. Anthony, Ruben, awesomeness. Pure 1986 awesomeness.
When you're done, one of the trademarks we have is a Tootsie Pop. Everybody that comes in here leaves with a Tootsie Pop. And we go through probably at least a case of those a week. They cost us over $130 for each case. You multiply that by 52 and you just figure out what we're spending just on Tootsie Pops. But if we don't have them, the customers complain about it. So
you gotta have these stuff.
Yeah.
Anthony, Ruben, thank you so much, gentlemen. Want more information? KTSM.com. Click on the Studio 9 tab. After that, it's time to shake, rattle, and roll my way into the gymnasium. Burn that off. It was delicious. Now, we're going to talk to the Texas Secretary of State about everything you need to know for early voting.
Studio 9 presents the morning news team as you've never seen them before.
What is that? That looks like a person.
Carlotta, would you like us to leave?
Please show it to us. We're not going to hurt you, okay?
This election is about big choices. Do we help small businesses and reward hard work? Or do we guarantee salaries to those who won't work? On healthcare, do we protect pre-existing conditions and lower costs? Or do we have a complete government takeover? Do we get serious about crime, or do we defund the police and release violent criminals? I'm Mark Ronchetti, and I approve this message because our kids are depending on us to make the right choices today.
At the law offices of Ruben Ortiz, we believe that when you're involved in an accident, it is your injury, your loss. Why pay 45, 40, or even 33.3% if you've been involved in an accident that wasn't your fault? At the law offices of Ruben Ortiz, we only charge 25%. I'm Ruben Ortiz. I live here in El Paso, and I will personally get you the money that you deserve.
Hurt in an accident? Call the law offices of Ruben Ortiz today, where we only charge 25%. Call 545-1616.
I stand with President Trump.
Politician Mark Ronchetti sides with Donald Trump over New Mexico, saying he'd reject federal COVID aid, crippling New Mexico businesses. And Ronchetti supports Trump's plan to dismantle health care and gut protections for pre-existing conditions. He even backs Trump's tax plan, giving breaks to big corporations over families, jeopardizing Medicare and Social Security.
I stand with President Trump.
Mark Ronchetti standing with Donald Trump, not New Mexico.
I'm Ben Ray Lujan, and I approve this message.
I voted on the first day of early voting. It took 1 hour and 15 minutes. It's going to be a high turnout election. So we sent Rosie from Nexstar to sit down with the Texas Secretary of State. Everything you want to know about voting this year.
A bad idea to make sure you're informed, prepared, and ready to cast your ballot. So joining us today to discuss the Ready, Check, Vote initiative is Texas Secretary of State Ruth Hughes. Good morning to you, Ruth.
Good morning.
Let's talk about something pretty important, getting people everything they need to step up to the ballot and have what they need to have in hand to vote appropriately. So let's talk about the approved forms of photo ID that Texans can use to vote this year.
Well, thank you, Rosie. I'm excited to get to talk to your viewers about making sure that they're ready and informed to vote. So we have this campaign, Ready, Check, Vote. If they go to votetexas.gov, they can read about the 7 forms of approved photo ID and then cast their vote. Our democracy is as strong as the electoral process that supports it, and we want to make sure everyone is well informed and they can go and cast their ballots with a lot of confidence.
But what if you don't have one of those 7 forms of ID? What else can you do?
Go online and find out more at votetexas.gov about a reasonable impediment declaration that you can file, and then include another supporting document, like a utility bill or a bank statement. And there's a list of the supporting documents that are approved. If you have a driver's license and it's expired, you might still be able to use that as an approved form of ID as long as it hasn't been expired up to 4 years. If you're 18 to 69, if you're 70 and older, there's no length of time for expiration for you to be able to use that as an approved form of ID.
You want people to be able to get their vote out, around these kind of ID efforts, especially in light of what a tricky year 2020 has been.
Indeed. So we really are excited about what we've been able to do with Ready, Check, Vote in terms of making sure that voters are aware of the approved forms of ID. Our grassroots efforts, however, have changed a bit, but what hasn't changed is our commitment to making sure everyone knows what they need. So we are actually in the middle of a statewide tour on a truck that has a flatbed with the description and the website, and it actually started in Austin.
Hey.
Across 3,000 miles and 46 cities, trying to help us get the word out. So that's been a little bit of a different grassroots efforts than some of the ones we were initially looking to do, but we're excited about the feedback we've received from that. And then, of course, it's in addition to all of the media that had been around Ready, Check, Vote, and that continues. So we're just hoping everyone is as well prepared, that they plan ahead, and that they have a really good experience when they go to the polls.
You've really had to change the way your gears were turning in a lot of ways, and I think that you've done a really incredible job of that. And I'm grateful to you because now I know what I need when I go to the polls this year. Secretary, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Of course, we're honored to welcome Texas Secretary of State Ruth Hughes to the studio today. For more information on the Ready, Check, Vote initiative, you can go to votetexas.gov or call the number on your screen.
Segment sponsored by the Office of the Texas Secretary of State.
There are Texans of all kinds. But when it comes to voting, they all need an approved form of ID. That's why it's important to ready, check, vote. Visit votetexas.gov to find a full list of the approved photo IDs and what to do if you don't possess and can't reasonably obtain one.
Visit votetexas.gov or call 1-800-252-VOTE.
I'm John Cornyn, and I approve this message.
So I would say that what Democrats need to do differently is not compromise and not become moderates.
MJ won't compromise. She wants cap and trade, which will destroy the Texas economy, raise taxes on families. Her government-controlled health care ruins Medicare and our patient-doctor relationship. Her safety plan? Defund police, legalize prostitution. MJ Hegar, too liberal for Texas.
Delivering for New Mexico means delivering for farmers. That's exactly what I did when I stood up to my own party and pushed them to support President Trump's trade deal. It's why I joined Republicans and Democrats to urge the Trump administration to hold Canada and Mexico's feet to the fire, so New Mexico's farmers can compete on a level playing field and sell their goods at a fair price, and rural communities can thrive. I'm Xochitl Torres Small, and I approve this message.
I've been working here for 15 years. Oil and gas isn't just a job, it's our whole community. Even funds our schools. But out-of-state environmentalists want to shut it all down, kill all drilling. And Xochitl's with them, 97% on their scorecard. That's why they're helping fund Small's campaign. These people want to kill my job, our community. And Xochitl's with them, not us.
Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Why is Ben Ray Lujan hiding his record? Supports a health care plan to end private health insurance for millions of people. Supports a plan to end New Mexico's oil and gas industry, slashing jobs and cutting public school funding. He even supports giving a guaranteed salary to those people who choose not to work. Ben Ray Lujan, D.C. partisan, San Francisco values. Common Sense New Mexico is responsible for the content of this advertising.
When money talks, Xochitl Torres Small listens. Nancy Pelosi and liberal extremists are spending millions to keep Xochitl Torres Small in Congress because Xochitl Torres Small is one of them. She votes with Pelosi 94% of the time, even voting to destroy our energy industry, which supports over 130,000 New Mexico jobs. Torres Small sides with them, risking our recovery. We can't afford Xochitl Torres Small. The NRCC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
How many record days did we have in October? Way too hot. So your air conditioner is more important than ever. If it's broken, then you need to hear from my friend Eric Alvarez over at Expert HVAC. Let me paint a picture for you. It's 102 degrees outside. You're sitting there, the AC's barely hanging on, and pop! All of a sudden, the AC is not cold anymore. What's the problem? This little guy right here. Joining me now is Eric Alvarez. He's the owner of Expert HVAC and Refrigeration. Nice to see you, Eric.
Thank you, Robert.
Okay, what is that bad boy right there?
So that's a capacitor, very minor price component that can cause a lot of grief.
So if you hear a pop and suddenly it's hot, it's this thing right here.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
you can fix that.
Yes, sir, we definitely can.
Okay, for the old school El Paso types who still have a swamp cooler out there, and the humid summers, our summers are getting more and more humid every single year. How many of those do you fix a year?
We fix hundreds, especially now, you know, with so many aging units out there. And the temperature's getting a lot hotter than I think what we've seen in the past. Repair and service work has increased quite a bit.
Do you think those swamp coolers still work, or do you think people should upgrade your refrigerated
I
air?
mean, swamp coolers will work to a certain extent. Temperatures have to be, you know, in the low 90s or below. You can't have any humidity in the air. As once you start getting into those high 90s, hundreds, and you start adding a little bit of humidity,
they don't work.
They're just not going to work.
And AC actually saves you money. I know we got it, and our electric bill actually went down.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
You know, the big thing right now, of course, is the virus. People want to stay safe. They want to stay safe at home. And one of the culprits, of course, is dirty ductwork. Well, how does Expert help with those ductwork things?
Well, keep in mind with refrigeration, you are pretty much filtering and recycling the indoor air. And so that indoor air can become stagnant. It can be a breeding ground for bacteria, viruses, mold, fungus, if you will. And so we offer duct cleaning, which will completely clean out your duct system, give you a lot better airflow. We do also install UV germicidal lights.
Well, I see that right here. This is the box right here, and this is the little unit. And you were telling me that, Eric, you take this little light,
right,
and you actually install it inside the AC or heating unit.
Correct.
And how does it work?
So basically the light will turn on as the unit turns on. And so as the air flows over that UV light, it will kill any living organisms, any bacteria, viruses. It messes with their DNA. And so basically makes them harmless, if you will.
So if you're sitting there suffering with a swamp cooler in the humidity, time for new AC.
Definitely.
Haven't cleaned your ductworks in 40 years. Might want to get all the mold and bacteria out.
Definitely.
And if you're fearful, of course, of the virus, might want to add these to genetically conquer that virus and kill it. Have a clean,
without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Eric, excellent advice. Thank you so much. And if you'd like more information, just go to KTSM.com, click on the Studio 9 tab. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Studio 9, and we'll see you again next time. Keep the ideas coming. Send me an email at rbettis@ktsm.com. Until then, keep smiling, keep shining, El Paso.